Welcome back to So You're Interested In, the show where I break down an artist's discography in order to give you, the viewer, the best possible jumping off point in order to get into their catalog. On this installment, let's take a look at the art punk outfit Perennial. Hailing from the New England area, this experimental group is quite the peculiar case. Not that the band itself is weird, as each of the members seem pretty dang cool to me, but the music that Perennial produces is not something that can be easily described. While it does, for the most part, absolutely fall into the art punk category, things tend to get funky the more and more you look into them. They take elements of 60s pop rock, post-hardcore, and even new wave to bring you their outlandish, explosive tunes. On a first listen, you might say to yourself, well, this is just a bunch of catchy noise, what's the big deal? The big deal, so to speak, is that there's so many hidden and underlying elements to these songs that add a new spin to their already intriguing sound. Perennial pulls from a vast catalog of muses in order to incorporate new flavors and flares to liven up their rambunctious sound. To date, the band has released a handful of albums, EPs, and singles, thus making Perennial a fun little rabbit hole to fall down. So to help you find the best places to start, I'm going to be recommending 2 albums and 3 individual tracks so you can finally start your journey into Perennial. As always, we're going to kick things off with the albums. The first Perennial album to check out should be their 2022 LP, In the Midnight Hour. Bursting at the seams with progressive yet snarling punk tunes, In the Midnight Hour is a force to be reckoned with. Rattling through 12 songs in 22 minutes, this modern art punk gem will whip by you in a flash, leaving you reeling from each 1-2 punch that lands. The title track comes roaring in as the second song in the listings, with Perennial's signature punchy drums, rapid riffs, and ever-exciting dueling vocals being at the front of the mix. Chelsea Hahn and Chad Jewett, who both serve as Perennial's vocalist amongst many other duties, smother this tune with their dynamic performances, ranging from manic screams to intimate croons. Impressively, this song is jam-packed with so much while only boasting a 95-second runtime, proving from the jump that this outfit has a plethora of ideas to share. Then there's a song like Food for Hornets, which is a fast-paced, balls-to-the-wall hardcore cut featuring a monstrous breakdown within the first few seconds. Surprisingly, the second half of the song swings in a much quieter direction, pulling from new wave to create a moody, synth-based complimentary closing. It's a little jarring on a first listen, but the loud to quiet dynamic will always get some love from me. Another killer cut comes in the form of Melody for a New Cornet. Opening with a 60s tinged synth pulsating in a calm manner, you might think you're getting some reprieve from the in-your-face attitude that permeated the other tracks. However, if you were truly hoping for that, then you're in trouble, because after a few short seconds of setting a tranquil mood, the guitar, bass, drums, and vocals hit you at full throttle. The riffs are bigger than life, bursting through with authority, while Chad's vocals in particular are yelped like he's fronting a true-to-form hardcore band. As the dust from the chaos settles, we are once again met with the deep, bubbly synth that opens the track up, only for the song to come to a final halt. The last song that I'd like to mention from this LP is Perennial in a Haunted House. This was the first song that made me fall in love with Perennial, and it still riles me up years later. It is undeniably catchy, with the quick repetition of the guitar riffs and easily screamable hook. I often find myself chanting, yeah, 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 gimme, gimme the Holy Ghost, thanks to this fast-paced ripper. I don't usually say this, but if you're only going to check out one song from this project, make sure it's Perennial in a Haunted House. With that being said, I do encourage you to listen to the entirety of In the Midnight Hour because it is absolutely worth your time. Next up, I highly recommend checking out Perennial's latest release, 2024's Art History. Personally, I think this is the band's best LP to date, mainly thanks to the forward-thinking songwriting and overall consistent tones and concepts. Sure, this is still art punk, so not everything is uniform, but it's hard to deny the general sonic landscape that is draped over this project as a whole. The opening track, which also happens to be the title track, bumps straight out the gate. It's groovy as all hell, with prominent quippy guitar licks and persistent percussion. The 60s pop rock sound is all over Art History, but Perennial isn't afraid to dip their toes into some psychedelic sounds to complement the punk ethos that is prominently displayed. It's short, sweet, and to the point, which is really all you can ask for in a certified punk banger. The cut Action Painting is another explosive piece. Mixing rapid synths, fiery riffs, and complex drum patterns, the band forges a song that requires you to get up and dance. Action Painting has some impeccable sound design, as the juxtaposition of the jangly but full-bodied instrumental with the barked and snarled vocals is quite the treat. Another standout comes in the form of How the Ivy Crawls. To me, this song just solidifies the sonic identity of this record. The dueling vocals are as fun as ever, with clashing personalities meeting their match over a post-hardcore focused instrumental. It's probably the hardest song on the album, even if the latter half of the cut does fade into a dissonant ending full full of subtle blips and bleeps. How the Ivy Crawls is art punk to its core, and I love it for that exact reason. Before I move into some individual tracks, I do want to briefly mention the Mystery Tone, which is art history's penultimate cut. Relying on a heavily distorted bass, the Mystery Tone seems rudimentary at first glance. But the beauty of this song lies in its search for that perfect mystery tone. It feels very self-referential in that way, as the various instruments search far and wide for that elusive tone. No, this isn't the craziest song on the project, but it is remarkably solid for what it is, and it does sound goddamn great. If you're looking to spice up your daily listening with some catchy, strange punk tunes, then look no further than this 12-song, 21-minute LP. And that is going to do it for the albums, but don't you go anywhere, because we still got some tracks to cover. The first Perennial track to listen to should be Fauves from their 2017 debut LP, The Symmetry of Autumn Leaves. Right off the bat, you're going to hear a noticeable dip in audio quality. Just power through because this song is still worth a listen. Fauves is a pretty sexy and groovy joint, despite the eventual raw, abrasive riffs we experience as the track progresses. It is by no means their most chaotic or fully fleshed out effort, but you can still hear bits and pieces of what's to come in the future. Though it resides in an unpolished state, Fauves still packs a few punches, even if it lacks the rapid blows that you'll find on In the Midnight Hour or Art History. I personally love hearing the earlier works of an artist to truly understand who they are and what they stand for, and I think that Fauves will do a great job painting that picture. Next up, you should spin Hippolyta from the 2023 EP, The Leaves of Autumn Symmetry. Luke, didn't you just talk about this record like 10 seconds ago? No, you bozo, I was talking about their 2017 record that shares a very similar name. The song in question, Hippolyta, appears on both of these projects, but there are two different versions. The Leaves of Autumn Symmetry is a reworking of 5 songs from their debut LP, The Symmetry of Autumn Leaves. We cool? Alright, let's talk about the actual song because this baby's a ripper. To me, this is one of Perennial's crowning jewels, as the pounding percussion and echoing vocals are thrown right in your face with no escape. Sure, we're gifted summer-tinged, fiery riffs at points, but it's the lyrical repetition that pulls and locks you in. Listening to this tune is just as fun as it is to say its name, Hippolyta, Hippolyta, Hippolyta. Do not skip out on this eccentric cut. Finally, you should do yourself a favor and check out Can You Do the Medusa from the 2019 EP, Food for Hornets. This is the side of Perennial that I hope people dive further into. Experimental at its core, this is a weird synth amalgamation that is so simple it seems stupid, yet so pure that it becomes necessary. The percussion is jangly and disjointed, but never seems to miss a beat. To put it plainly, this cut is a vibe, albeit a strange vibe. It's incredibly minimalistic, leaving its open spaces as an invitation for further contemplation. No, this is not a banger, as it resides in an otherworldly subliminal space between accessible and enjoyable. This is the type of tune that is food for thought as opposed to actual musical sustenance. To be honest, this might be the most open-ended and abstract way that I've ever described a song in this series, but then again, I don't think that I've ever recommended a song this out there so strongly. If you're a real oddball who enjoys the pleasures of spacey blips and bleeps, Can You Do the Medusa will satisfy your complex needs. And that is going to conclude my video covering Perennial. Links to all the albums and tracks discussed here will be located in the video description box below. Scroll down even further to the comments section where you can let me know if you liked any of the albums or tracks that I recommended here. Maybe you're already a huge Perennial fan and you think that I completely butchered this list. That's fine, go to the comments and let me know. While you're down there, feel free to recommend any artists that you would like to see covered on So You're Interested In. Just note that I do have a bit of a backlog built up, so if I don't get to it right away, it's nothing personal. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Forever Spinning for more videos just like this every single week. There are plenty of videos coming down the pipeline, and being subscribed not only helps me out, but it also lets you be in the know when these new videos drop. And that's just about all that I have for you this week, outside of my usual reminder for you to go out and support your local record store if you are able to, along with the local artists in your area, and well, till I see you next time, happy listening.